Hi, fourth graders. Welcome to your first math video that's going to talk about 3 different strategies that's going to help you with your multiplication of 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. Now, what I'm going to be doing with you right now is going to help you with the worksheet that you are going to be working on at home and bring with you when you come to small groups during your second small group meeting. So these 2 examples are going to be similar to what you are going to work on, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways of how to solve each equation. Now you are more than welcome to do all 3 styles or pick the one that works best for you and your brain. I love it. Whatever works for you works for me. So we're going to dive in here. So the first problem we have, the sports store at the mall got 15 boxes of soccer jerseys yesterday. Each box had 23 jerseys. How many jerseys did the store get in all? Now there's one special word that's going to tell me what I'm going to do. Can you remember what that word is? It tells me whether I'm going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And remember, that hot word is each. Each tells me that I'm going to multiply, okay? So we need to figure out, we're going to do 15 times 23, all right? So let's take a look at some ways to figure that out. So our original problem is 15 times 23, and we don't know how many jerseys that's going to be, okay? So the first thing, first area that we're going to work on is that area model, okay? Now you know it with me like doors and windows. So we're going to set it up that way. So I'm going to make my window. Okay. I know it's going to be into 4 parts because I'm going to break each of these numbers into those 2 pieces. So if I were to pull apart 15, I would suck out that 10. That's an easy number to multiply. And what's left out of the 15 would be the 5. Now, if I'm going to pull apart the 23, remember, I just said it, 23. Those big numbers are easy to pull apart. You have 20 and 3, just like that. So remember, my style, I like putting the bigger numbers on the top. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to write 20 in the first box and 3 in the second box. And that's where I get my 23. I've broken up into 20 and 3. And I like the small guys, the little guys, along the side. And that's my learning style. If you want to do it differently, do it, dude. So we have 10 and 5. Now 10 and 5, when we add it together, see 10 and 5, and means to add. That's where I get my original 15, okay? My window's all set up. I'm ready to multiply. So like we talked about in class, we're going to take that top digit, that 10, and we're going to go 10 times this, 10 times that. And if you need to, sometimes in the past, we put that multiplication symbol there just to remind us that we're going to multiply. So 10 times this, 10 times that. So the first is 10 times this. So we're going to go 10 times 20. Well, we've been working on multiplying by tens and hundreds, okay? So 10 times 20 would be 200. 1 times 2 is 2. I bebop those zeros back on to hold that place for that hundredths, okay? 10 times this, 10 times that. So 10 times 3, oh, that's easy. It's 30. All right, I'm going to add across. 200 plus 30, my first area there is going to be 230. Easy peasy, babes. All right, I'm done with my 10. I like to cross it off just so I don't do it a second time. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drop down my second level. 5 times this, 5 times that. Okay, so 5 times 20 is going to give me 100. And 5 times 3, bring that down, I got 15. And this level is going to be worth, I add those areas together to get 115. And here's the easy peasy part. I'm going to take those 2 digits, I'm going to add them together, and I get 5 and 0 is 5, 3 and 1 is 4, and 2 and 1 is 3. So my answer is 345. So we did this, we accomplished this multiplication task using that area model. The next way, we're going to tackle the same problem, but we're going to look at partial product and pulling that apart. Now remember, partial product is just like the area, only you are better and stronger mathematicians that you don't need to draw those doors and windows. So let's take a peek at what that looks like. Next, same problem, 15 times 23, okay? Now remember, when we look at partial product, we're gonna pretend we don't know. When we look at partial product, we always break apart the bigger number. So, which was bigger, 15 or 23? Well, 23 is obviously bigger. So I'm gonna break apart my 23, just like I did before, into 20 and 3, okay? Now, I'm gonna take my 15 and I'm gonna multiply it to each of those partial, remember partial means part of, okay? Partial of those products. So I'm gonna go 15 times 20, that's its own little area, plus 15 times 3, boom. Same idea as our window up above, but now we're looking at parentheses. Remember, parentheses hold your problems in place. And it's just another way that mathematicians look at how to hold a piece together, okay? So let's look at this. 15 times 20, that looks gross, right? So let's talk about some things that we did. I'm gonna cover up that 0. Well, 15 times 2, come on, give me something that's hard. 15 times 2, well, that's 30. I bring my 0 down, so 15 times 20 is 300. Plus 15 times 3, well, if we knew that 15 times 2 was 30, so one more group of 15 would give me 45. All right, last step, I'm going to combine these last two, add them up, I get 345 is my answer. And whew, thank goodness, they're the same so far. So partial product is the same idea. You're just breaking apart the bigger number into easier numbers. I always like the easy way. And then you're just going to multiply those pieces together. Okay? Now the third way we're going to look at it is something that will look similar and understanding to a lot of you. But we call it the standard algorithm. And that's where we put one number on top of the other and multiply. So we're going to take 15 times 23. Okay? The biggest mistake that friends make when we do this is again called the standard algorithm, standard way, is they forget that second 0 to hold its place in line. So let's start. Remember, we start at the right and we go up and over. So 3 times 5 is 15. But just like in addition, I'm not going to write 15. I got to carry that group of 10. So I carry my 1 and I write my 5 in the 1's place. All right. So I went up. Now I'm going to go over. 3 times 1 is 3 plus my little leftovers to get 4. And 45 is my first number. Okay. Now remember, I'm done. And when I'm done, when I'm done, I put a 0 to hold its place in line in that 1's column. When I'm done with a digit, you always got to put that 0. And then also for good luck, I always cross off that top number too, so I don't accidentally do it again. And we repeat, only this time we go over and up. You always start in the 1's place. You always start with that first number. So this time, 2 times 5 is 10. And 2 times 1 is 2, plus your leftovers to get 3. Ooh, I'm seeing something that's coming up. You add is your last step. 5 and 0 is 5. 4 and 0 is 4. Bring down the 3, and I get my 345. as my answer yet again. So we just showed you 3 different ways of how to accomplish that multiplication equation. Let's look at another problem and do the same thing. Next, we have Kesha's dad got 25 cases of water for the soccer tournament next week. Each case contains 24 bottles of water. How many bottles of water did he get in all? Oh baby, there it is again. Each. I'm going to multiply. So let's set that up. Let's start with our window. So our original problem is 25 times 24. And we don't know how many bottles of water that's going to be. All right, I'm going to break this. 25, I said it out loud. 25, 24. Oh yeah, here we go. Draw it out. Ooh, little awkward. All right. Now I know I need 4 spaces of my window because I have 4 numbers. That's how I know I'm going to do a window and not a door. So again, I like the bigger numbers on top. 25, 24. All right, I'm going to add my little multiplication symbol just so I don't forget. And we're going to go 20 times this, 20 times that. So 20 times 20, 2 times 2 is 4. Add those zeros to hold that place for 400. 20 times this, 20 times that. Well, 20 times 5, we did that earlier. That's 100. All right, my first row is going to be worth 500. All right, I'm going to cross that off because I'm done with it. I'm going to move downstairs. 4. 4 times this, 4 times that. So 4 times 20. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. I add the 0 in the tens place to make it 80. And finally, 4 times 5 is going to be 20. Move that over. 80 plus 20 is 100. My final step is to add it all up. Well, 500 plus 100. Oh man, I don't know if we can do it. 600. 600 water bottles is what that's going to be. Holy guacamole. Okay, let's do the same problem again using that partial product. Remember, partial product is the same idea as the door and window. We're just not drawing it out, okay? Let's take a look. My original problem is 25 times 24. All right. I like to break the bigger number apart. Here we go. 20 and 5. So that means I'm going to take 24 times 20. There's my first. Plus 24 times 5. Okay, just another way to break it apart. All right, so 24 times 20. Again, I'm going to cover up that 0. 24 times 2. So I'm just doubling 24. 24 times 2. Well, that's going to be 48. Add that 0 to get 480. Boom, baby. Now we have 24 times 5. 24 times 5. I know that looks big and scary, but you did part of it already. 24 times 5, okay? Well, I know that if I had 24 times 2, like I just did, would be 48, okay? And then if I did that again, 24, I doubled it, and I would get that 48 again. Now I'm pretty stinking close, and I know I'm getting close to what my area is going to be, okay? So I know that 48 and 48 is going to get me close to where I want to be, but not quite close enough. Now, if you want, you can always do the problem off to the side to kind of see it. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus that 2 is 120. You can break it apart that way. Or you can always break this into a smaller piece to get your 120. When you add those two pieces up again, boom, baby, you get your 600. Now, the final way to do it is that standard algorithm that we talked about, okay? You have 25, oopsies, always one on top of the other, my bad, times 24. All right, up and over. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, and 10. All right, done, done. Now remember, when we cross off our ones place, we gotta put that 0 in that placeholder. Now I'm gonna go over and up. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 to get 5. Easy part. 600 is again my same answer. So I just gave you 3 different ways of how to solve those problems. Now what you're going to do, you can use all 3. You can pick one, but your expectation is to come to your second small group today with some ideas and answers of those math equations for Zena's garden. All right, Zena's garden is what you're going to work on. If you have any questions, we can work on some things together. But I just gave you 3 different strategies to figure that out. And let me know if you need me. I'm always here for you. And I'll see you on our second small group to talk about math, okay? Bye, my friends. I'll see you later. Bye.